Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. This is going to be video 2 of 3 in the series. We already had Affliction and the Clash Tree come out of Warlock Feedback, looking at week 1 of Midnight Alpha. Today is going to be Demonology, a spec that is near and dear to my heart and one that I want to see, played a little bit again, because obviously Demo has been played in a million years, in Raid or anywhere else, right? Okay, jokes aside, let's get into it. But first, before we do that, actually, we are less than 5,000 subs away from 100K on the channel on YouTube. If you guys aren't subbed, it would mean the world to me if you considered subbing. We're very close to 100K. Would love to hit it before the year is up, but regardless, if we don't hit it before then, we'll hit it at some point, and I appreciate y'all. Okay, so we're going to start off here with like trees that I built, one in single target, one in AoE. I want to go down and just hit on the talent nodes, and then look at it a little bit in combat, and talk about why I think Demonology is actually like built in a pretty thematic manner, but does feel a little bit lacking. So things have changed a bit for Demonology in Midnight. Basically, you have a max count of imps. Hand of Gul'dan gives you a max imp count of 3. When you path down further, Imp Mastery gives you 3 more, so 6. And Hellbent Commander gives you 3 more, which is for a total of 9. Imp Gang bosses do count as wild imps, so you can think of Imp Gang bosses and wild imps under one umbrella over here. You can have a max of 9 of those, combined, however you want to order it, 9. Now, if you are playing a talent Ancient Imps, you can have 3 additional imps. They're under their own separate umbrella, so you can have 9 wild imp gang boss combination, like together total a total of 9 over here, and over here you have 3 ancient imps, so there's 2 umbrellas. If you're playing ancient imps, technically it's a total of 12 imps total, but 3 will be ancient and 9 will be wild / imp gang bosses. Worth mentioning because things build upon that. Now, getting into this here, this is a single target tree that I built. Things might vary a bit depending where it goes, but this is sort of where I've landed. Hand of Gul'dan's here. Whenever you're at your max imp count, which is 9, or whenever you're at your max wild imp count, wild imp / imp gang boss, your Hand of Gul'dan will transform into a spell called Eye of Gul'dan, which I'll try and show here briefly. Basically, turn it down, it's very loud. Whenever you are at your max imp count, you'll see my Hand of Gul'dan here. When I cast one more, turn green, which it is right there, and every 3 shards we cast an Eye of Gul'dan, which is this big green zap line here, and it basically does single target damage until some of your imps are expiring. It will transform back into a Hand of Gul'dan, and that will allow you to build imps again. I'll implode here briefly. See, it's back to Hand of Gul'dan. Now the thing is, imps last 40 seconds in Midnight. There's no energy on them. You summon them in, they just last 40 seconds and cast. If you tyrant with imps out, tyrant will add 15 seconds to their lifespan. They're going to last 55 seconds. Keep in mind, tyrant itself is a minute cooldown, so you're barely summoning imps anymore at all. You pull out 9, they sit there and cast. So there's your imp background. Keep that in mind, and we can now sort of figure out how that builds upon it going through the tree. So Implosion is here. Been there for a while. Called Dreadstalker is here as well. Nothing changed with these really, as far as baseline talents are concerned. You've got Fell Intellect and Practice Rituals here. Int and Mastery modifiers. You've got Improved Implosion here, which does increase the damage of Implosion a lot the more imps you implode. This is a good talent, because Implosion's been in a spot where they've been buffing imps a lot, but they haven't buffed Implosion to compensate. And it's made it so the number of targets you want to implode in to gain value has gone up from 2 to 3 to like 4, basically. This talent will fix that. And also a bit of a tuning knob if they need. They can increase it from 5 to 6 or 5 to 4. Very good. I like this talent a lot. Dreadlash is still here. Demon Bolt, Imp Mastery is here. This gives you 3 more Imps max mastery. Over here, this is the first big change. So Grimoire Felguard is gone. This is Summon Felguard. This is literally the button you hit that summons your Felguard. Right here. Blizz mentioned when it comes to putting it in the tree, they want to make it clear to players that are playing the class for the first time that the Felguard is better. It is the pet you want to play for Demonology, and they wanted to put it here to emphasize that. I think it's a little weird, a little awkward, but I don't know. I mean, probably isn't the end of the world. I didn't mind Grimoire. I've heard it's a very big loss in PvP. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back and it's kind of like talent over here. I don't know. But it does feel like between the loss of Grimoire and a couple other abilities, Demo's a little lacking. Building upon this, you have Fell Armaments, shorter cooldown on Fellstorm and more damage dealt by your main pet. And then you have things like Unholy Power, increasing pet damage. Same thing with Rune of Shadows, Shadow Bolt damage increase, and Imp Gang bosses over here. So whenever you cast Hand of Gul'dan, one of your imps is going to be an Imp Gang boss doing more damage. A couple more imp modifiers over here. You've got ED. Maybe you don't know. I I don't. Anyways, hopefully somebody caught that. Increases the damage of implosion of an Imp Gang boss by 100%. Increases the chance of receiving a demonic core from an Imp Gang boss by 10% when imploded. Imperator, wild imp, single target damage increase. Infernal rapidity, chance to do more damage with a firebolt from your imps. So things that modify imps over here, right? Over here we have flame touch, which used to be down here. You have things like carnivore stalkers for dogs still here, and you have Doomguard bracers coming out of fill armaments, which gives your axe toss a chance to remove a, or not even a chance, it just does remove a harmful magical effect from you. Very interesting. I guess we'll take it. I don't know. It's a very odd talent. I don't know if it would be played a whole lot. It's probably sort of niche, but regardless, it does build out of the Felguard row here. Heading down more, I mean, brutality, tactics used to be down here. They're right here now. Tyrants here, all the same pretty much. And then we get into the capstone section of the tree, basically. So you've got Demonic Knowledge, used to be called Born of Blood. They brought this back. Hand of Gul'dan gives you a 15% chance to generate a demonic core whenever you cast one. I don't believe this affects this, the Eye of Gul'dan. I believe this is just Hand of Gul'dan. I could be wrong, but I think it's just Hand of Gul'dan. I would like this to work with Eye of Gul'dan. Whenever you have 9 imps out and this transforms into Eye of Gul'dan, the spell, I would like Demonic Knowledge to work with Eye of Gul'dan, because it's still consuming shards. It might do that now. I don't believe it does. I could be wrong. If it doesn't, I think it should. It would still help. It would help with like overall flow of demo a bit, and just be a bit smoother, right? Building upon that, you have Power Siphon, you have Ancient Imps. Ancient Imps are cool. They never expire. They're always there. It's fine. It's like a bigger Inner Demons, right? You have Siphon here, which will sack 3 Imps, which gives 3 charges of Demonic Core. That cause Demon Bolt to do more damage, all that stuff. 3 charges is a bit interesting, because there's times where you're going to have dogs expiring, or maybe you'll have like a demonic knowledge proc coming in. And it's very easy to overcap when you have 3 charges, and or it's easy to, it feels like you might be sitting on Siphon a bit longer than usual because of, well, you don't want to overcap on stacks or charges, right? At the same time, Ancient Imps have an internal timer, it seems, that it checks if they're active or not. So let me implode here. See how long till they respawn. Stopwatch. Started here. They're already back. That was 3 seconds, right? Now, if I implode here, watch how long they come back. It's probably gonna be like 9 seconds. There's like an internal, I think it's 15 seconds timer that checks if Ancient Imps are active. And if they're not, yep, there they are. It spawns them back. Now, that can be good. That can be bad, because sometimes you're gonna implode right alongside that 15-second check. You're not gonna have imp spawning in for 15 seconds. At times, you can implode like, I don't know, like right about now, and have them respawn a second or 2 later. Like, should be right about now. Should be. Maybe I mistimed it, but you get the gist of it. Now, either way, let's try and do it again. I will time it again. Either way, there's not going to be any way to track like their active duration realistically, because they last forever, but that internal check does go off every, I think it's 15 seconds, and we'll see right about now when I implode these. We should get more back right about now. Yep, it's 15. So there's a world where you implode right before the check. There's a world where you implode right after. Is it the end of the world? Not necessarily, but there is a bit of like, I guess you could min-max that if you knew that information. Maybe we can just like, but at the same time, you can't reduce the duration to like, 2 seconds to checking that internally, because things might spiral a bit. That seems a bit odd to me. I don't know how you change that. Maybe it's just okay where it's at, but it does seem a little weird that might affect like pre-pull shenanigans. Like you like to know when they're going to expire. Similar to Inner Demons with, current Demonology, you can see when they're going to start expiring, so you can siphon and pre-plan siphoning when your timer's counting down, where the boss is pulled, right? You can't really plan that here. Sometimes you'll siphon and imps will respawn instantly. Sometimes, and you'll go into the boss with 3 Ancient Imps out and a bunch of other ones. Sometimes you'll go in with none. That's how it is. But you can't siphon too early or too late because of how demonic cores expire. So that's a bit odd. I don't know how to fix that. Maybe it's just the world we live in. I don't know. But that's just sort of that. Feels a little clunky there, but what can you do? Building upon that, in the more single targets of the tree, we have Sack Souls here, which is just here. I've had trouble finding points for this, though. It feels like there's a lot of single target elements that I want, and the pathing from Demonic Knowledge being 2 points and Master Summoner being 2 points as well. This is a 1-point talent, which is here currently in retail, and this was a 1-point talent up here in retail, makes it awkward. I have to spend 4 to get down here to Siphon and Ancient Imps. I gotta spend 4 to get down here to my Purple Dog or Red Dog through Vile Fiend and through here as well. Basically, we're spending 8 points getting down here, which leaves not much room for things like Demonic Calling or Tauren Armaments or Sack Souls, or, you know, these are more AoE based, but it puts you in a world where I want to play some of these, but I really can't, unless these just sim worse, right? You've got Helmet Commander here. You're going to play this everywhere. This is like Creeping Death for Affliction. You play it everywhere. It gives you more imps, all that stuff. And here is like a pure single target damage increase to Eye of Gul'dan, which is the spell that empowers your hand of Gul'dan at 9 imps. It seems a little low proc rate wise and all that, but regardless, it's obviously intended to be single target. There could be a world where you just don't play Siphon and or Ancient Imps in single target anymore. Maybe you just don't. At the same time, I mean, Knowledge coming back seems like you're going to have a million cores, but keep in mind, imps aren't expiring in single target anywhere near what they used to. Imps used to expire every, 12 seconds in combat, I believe, something like that. It's once every 40 now, and it's 55 seconds if you tyrant that set, which you're tyranting basically every set of imps. So imps really aren't expiring much anymore. Demonic Knowledge coming back is nice because it helps fill that gap of core, I guess, lossage. You're basically just getting cores from dogs and Siphon at this point. But I'm wondering if there's a world where if you can make these talent points just rank 1 talents. Like, I think they're both fine. Give 10% chance for Demonic Knowledge, rank 1 Summoner, it's fine. Then you have 2 more points to spend in things like Dread Calling and or Sack Souls, because you're going to want Sack Souls likely, but it feels bad pulling out a Siphon and passive imps to get a Shadow Bolt increase or an instant cast chance for dogs. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe you just play this instead. Maybe Ancient Imps and Siphon aren't worthwhile, but it feels like they should be worthwhile based on how Demos functioned for a long time. So a bit of I feel like this gating could be 1 talent point nodes instead of 2. That'd be nice. Maybe you can add points appear somewhere else, other things to sort of offset it maybe. Overall, like talent points in the tree, but it does feel a little awkward pathing wise on here. There's some nodes that I want theoretically in single target or for like general quality of life that I can't really get, I feel like, based on what these are looking to be, more single target-esque, but there's that. So that's basically it for single target. It's a bit of pathing stuff, but we'll see where that goes. And we'll feel a lot more like the longer we get into, testing stuff, right? Now, when it comes to AoE, things shift a bit. I'm putting a point up here in Improved Implosion. I like Improved Implosion a lot. I pulled out of things like Imperator, Infernal Rapidity and stuff. Might want to point here, who knows? Or, here if you want like niche axe toss stuff. But when it comes to AoE, it feels really weird not having Siphon in M+ anymore. Now you're imploding a lot because your Doomguard is back and he volleys Doom Bolts again. It's not single target, it's a volley, which is very cool. But it feels weird not having Siphon and or like Inner Demons / Ancient Imps following you around. I wish this was like up in the tree more here somewhere else. It would be like where it is now currently on retail. It's up here somewhere. It would feel a lot better having like that just passive imp count Siphon, an extra button to hit without talenting into it, sort of like smooth, fluid quality of life. That'd be nice. But regardless, when it comes to like AoE and stuff, I've got a point over here in Demonic Calling. Obviously, you're jumping into Doomguard and Explosive Core. You're going to play this everywhere. This is like another imp count talent. You're going to play it. You've got Vile Fiend and Red Dog, and that gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points spent here. I guess you could pull something like this and hop down here into like, I guess maybe like a point in Knowledge or Sack Souls or whatever. But it feels like the point down here doesn't really matter a crazy amount. Maybe it's a point in Knowledge, Sack Souls is sort of whatever, and plus you're imploding obviously AoE a bunch. Evil Eye itself, just Eye of Gul'dan's not being cast much in M+ either, unless you're on a boss. Maybe you just throw it up here in Rituals. Who knows? Or maybe you probably leave it here realistically, but you can get one more point down here somewhere. But it feels like I'm lacking the raw number of points I want down here for single target abilities. Like I'm still not being able to get Sack Souls and Knowledge or Calling with, points in this row and points in this row and this row. When it comes to AoE, I feel like I can basically get whatever I want, and then I have like, all right, well, I don't really care about sack spells and M plus. Evil Eye is single target based. Like, sure, this would be nice, but I'm not pulling out of consistent Doomguard, AoE, Explosive Core, Row, or Fire Dog for this. So it's like, well, what do? You know, you're either lacking 4 points or you're lacking like none. You can put a point somewhere else. And Torn Armaments is sick, but it does very little damage as well. So like when it comes to actuality right now, I probably do a build more like this. I probably hop somewhere down here and try and find a point or two to get into this row as well. Maybe like pulling from, it might even be like calling to get down here somewhere. But either way, probably need buffs here in Tauren and to see where that goes. But yeah, that's sort of the case in the world we live in right now. Now, the cool thing about Demonology and AoE, I have done some tests and dummies with like logs and stuff. I'm not going to dig too far into that right now because things are going to change a lot. Is that it does feel pretty rewarding when it comes to AoE, right? So let's say we're running into a pack and plus. It feels weird not being able to siphon. Also, to clarify, I'll put rituals in my bars here for spots that I have for other abilities on retail. Like this is Potion, Stone Form, Gateway Control Shard, Trinket. This is Tongues, but I'm missing basically Banish shouldn't be here, and this is like a macro, but I am missing 3 buttons. We're missing Grimoire, we're missing Vile Fiend, because Vile Fiend is tied passively into our Dreadstalker's cast now, which is right here, and I am missing Demonic Strength / Bile Scourge Bombers talent up here as well. And it does sort of feel like with losing 3 buttons and not having Siphon around, these shouldn't be out. It's just a bug. They don't go away whenever you talent out of it. It does feel like I am missing like a button. Like I'd be more invested in the class if I had another button to hit. Similar to like Dark Harvest for Affliction. That's a minute cooldown. Demo doesn't really have that a whole lot. Like when we get going at AoE here, for example, let's just do this. So we're going to cast some bolts, cast some dogs, sure, why not? Cast some hands, 3 imps. I might lose these dogs here for timing wise, but it's fine. Not a big deal. It's whatever, just for simplicity's sake. I'll hand here, and we're at max Tyrant. You Tyrant here. Probably just going to implode these, because whenever you implode with AoE, it summons basically a Doomguard with 9 imps. So there's that. We cast that right there. Build back to 5 shards. We cast dogs here, I guess. Whatever, it's fine. Build back again. He's still active. I have 6 imps out. There's 3 more. There's my Soul Keeper. I'm going to implode. Doomguard's back. There's a lot of like demon cycling. You've got your Charhound active all the time, basically. You're casting dogs, obviously. Soul Keeper's here. Big Mommy's here. Doomguard's spawning in whenever you implode 9 imps. Basically, whenever he expires, you've got the option to just implode again and bring him back. He's going to constantly cast Shadow Bolt Volleys on your targets all the time. He's just bugged right now, only casting 1. But he'll be volleying when it's fixed, right? But it feels like all I'm really doing is just sort of building implosions, casting implosions. Building implosions, casting implosions. Obviously, like, I'm casting dogs on cooldown pretty much, and I can Tyrant, right? But it doesn't really feel like it's that in-depth. It's still very cool visually because you have all these demons spawning in, running around. It's very, very cool. But from where we're at on retail, it feels like I have... Where are my Tyrants? Oh, he's in melee. There he is. Okay, yeah. It feels like I have lost some depth of play. And all classes are being pruned down a bit, but it feels like I've lost maybe a bit too much when it comes to like depth of play. Maybe giving an option talent-wise, like maybe you can just throw Bile Scourge Bombers down here somewhere, or give us an option to like have Bombers or Demonic Strength back. Have a button you can hit like a minute cooldown, half-minute cooldown that adds a bit more vibrancy, a bit more thematics into what Demonology is. I don't really feel that when I'm playing Affliction AoE, but when I'm playing Demo and AoE, it does sort of feel like that. Like I'm missing 1 button. When it comes to single target, it feels like I'm missing a handful of buttons, which there has been a bit of a condensing we talked about and all that. But if we swap to single target here, I miss my imp army. Now, I get what they're going for with the 9 imp max and all that. I might even like totally... I get the ideology behind it, trying to like make Tyrant setup much easier and stuff, and I understand why they're doing it. I'm waiting from imps to spawn in here, but yeah, there we go. But if you watch the rotation here in single target, it becomes it's just a little bland. So let's say we're opening up on a boss here, we'll pre-siphon, whatever, cast some bolts, and just start going, right? So we cast Dreadstalkers. They are bugged and taking 3 shards to summon a Battlefiend now. It's whatever. Hand, bolt. Hand, bolt, we'll hand again. I might lose these dogs, but I think we can catch them. It's fine. And then you Tyrant, right? So there's your Tyrant setup. Very simple, no big deal. But for the next minute, I have Gul'dan Simulator. these imps are going to be out for basically 45 more seconds. I'm not imploding in single target. I mean, there's a world where that's going to be happening, possibly. That's the same thing, but we'll see where that goes. I have Gul'dan Simulator. It's build 3 shards. I have Gul'dan. 3 shards. I have Gul'dan. 3 shards. I have Gul'dan. Demon Bolt. Demon Bolt. I have Gul'dan. Yeah, we have the man in a cage spawning in. There are demons cycling, and it's cool. It's thematic. I mean, it feels like, yeah, there's demons cycling in, but I want a bit more depth of my rotation. I don't want just to be, I mean, the imps are still active right now. I want a little more depth. I sort of missed, I like my cool red eye there. I sort of missed the depth of having like, yeah, maybe like 12, 15 imps out every so often, right? It's just very passive, and they all expired here, so that's cool. We build more imps again. Cast dogs, hand, bolt, hand, bolt, hand. We go tyrant, and you're back in the same cycle of being an Eye of Gul'dan simulator for the next minute. Now, I think they actually have elaborated upon demonology a lot thematically, and there's a lot of really cool effects in AoE. Constant Doomguard volley. In single target, I mean, you have like, I have 2 Vile Fiends out right now, 2 purple dogs. Super sick, because they launch with your Dreadstalkers. Very, very cool. Tyrant extends them. That's very cool. Thematically, it's there, but rotationally, it feels like I'm just sort of a Shadow Bolt simulator. Shadow Bolt, Demon Bolt simulator a little bit, rotationally. Thematically, I think Demo's there, but I wish there's another button I could hit that made it feel more Demo-esque. Something that summoned pets, something that did something else, right? I don't mind the merging of Vile Fiend with Dreadstalkers. I think that's probably better, honestly. I mean, I mentioned Demonic Strength for AoE, and I wouldn't mind it being Demonic Strength, but I'm also a bit like, I don't think Strength would fill that gap of me wanting, or I don't think Strength would fill that gap. Right, that makes sense. Oh, cool. So my imps all expired. I basically can Tyrant again. Built 9 back, and I'm back into that minute simulator, being that minute I have Gul'dan simulator. Right. So it's sort of a weird like kind of rotation. I know they're pruning things down a bit and trying to like condense how in-depth classes are. Out of all 3 lock specs, it does sort of feel like Demonology got trimmed down the most. I mean, AF has UA Spender, got an overhaul, feels pretty good. Destro's the same. Goes to show how easy Destro's been for a while. But it's the same thing. Didn't really lose anything. Talent has changed a bit. And that'll be the next video coming out in the series. But I wish Demonology had a bit more depth to it, rotationally. I don't know where it's at exactly, but I want like one more button thematically that does something. I don't know if it's Grimoire. Feels sort of eh. I don't know if it's like Demonic Strength for single targets. Maybe more stuff like AoE or Mythic Plus, like Strength or Bombers. I mean, Dark Harvest is a button for Affliction, right? With, you know, Dark Lair being 2, Dark Harvest being 1. Maybe like a button every half minute you can just hit and it's like, hey, it empowers your pets. I mean, honestly, that'd be cool. I think Thalkiel's Consumption, talked about it before in old videos. The button we had in Legion, or Artifact, that sucked health out of all our pets, like all our imps, everything was active, and dealt that damage to your target in single target. That would be really cool. That feels Master Summoner-esque, and I feel like that would be a great tool to have somewhere in here, right? Maybe you could throw it as a capstone somewhere. Maybe you could have it behind Hellbent Commander. It even makes sense. Hellbent Commander sounds like sacrificial. I mean, as cool as Evil Eye is, it's a low proc chance. It's just a dot. It's a dot. It's basically adding a weird low proc chance dot to a Shadow Bolt effect. Make this Stalkeout's Consumption, like with a button you can hit every 45 seconds. That's so sick. And that would make Demonology feel a lot more, much better in single target, thematic. People love Legion AF. People love Stalkeout's Consumption too. Let's bring that back. And at the same time, Strength and or Bomber, something in AoE. Maybe something else too. Another button in AoE would make it feel even better. But that's how I'm feeling about Demonology right now. We'll see where it goes in the next few weeks. And yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And hopefully, if you haven't seen Demonology much on Alpha at this point, this video maybe gave you a bit of a better idea or understanding of the spec currently. Now, I do like the thematics of Demonology. I don't think Demo's really almost ever been this thematic. Maybe besides like the patch where we had another portal being, you know, a thing, you summoned a million random demons, but I just feel like it has, out of all 3 lock specs, been the one that's most simplified, and it might have been the one that was pulled back on the most, with removing 3 abilities, essentially. We'll see where it goes. I think Thalkeel's Consumption is a really good idea. You could do for like single target to spice it up a bit, giving it like a half minute, probably 45-second cooldown would be great. Maybe Strength or Bombers for AoE. I don't know. We'll see. Just want to give like general feedback on that and see where it goes. It's alpha. It's time to give feedback and stuff. So Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you liked it, hit the like and sub buttons below. It helps out a ton. Like I said, we're less than 5K subs away from 100,000 on YouTube, which is insane. And I appreciate y'all's support a million times. Speaking of support, thank you as well to all my supporters on Patreon for all that, guys. Thank you a million times. Like always, I greatly appreciate y'all. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here as well as down below in the description. Now, this should be video 2 of 3 in the series. I believe we're going to have Destruction coming out after this, which is probably the spec that needs the most attention when it comes to talents. I do think there's actually a lot of good talents in Destra that have been changed. Some more or less the bottom part of the tree needs some help and attention. We'll see where it goes. There is the new Shadowburn coming in, which they mentioned in the blue post, but hasn't been implemented yet on alpha, so maybe that'll be out later this week, depending on this video comes out, but yeah, we'll see. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.